Hello, superheroes and supervillains. It's your friend Sean PVS 101. Welcome back to another video on my channel. And I am officially back at YouTube. Why? Why I'm back? Because I wasn't feeling so better because of last week. I was very sick because I have an uncomfortable runny nose. But now I'm officially back at YouTube because back I was saying, and today I'm going to do a brand new movie review on my YouTube channel, and today's movie review I'm going to review is MCU's brand new movie, Black Widow. Yes, I'm going to do a movie review on Black Widow, and this movie was released in 2021 this year, and this movie was released in theaters and exclusively on Disney+. And this movie stars Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff for the final time, Florence Pugh as Elena Blenheim, David Harbour as Red Guardian / Axie, and Richard Woods as Melina. And so the plot for this movie, it takes place right after Captain America Civil War left off. In this movie, we learned about Natasha Romanoff's origins from her past, how she becomes a super spy to join the Avengers. While she's learning about her origins in her past, she met her long-lost sister named Elena, played by Florence Pugh, while Natasha and Elena never seen each other since they were kids because they got split apart from the beginning of the movie. While Natasha Romanoff and Elena learn their mission to escape and free Axie / the Red Guardian, because of while Natasha Romanoff and Lena have officially seen her dad and her mom, Axie and Melina, because of Natasha Romanoff and Elena needs to get back to the family because of they split it together during the beginning of Black Widow. While Natasha Romanoff's finally seen her family again because of Elena needs to free the other women widows because of the villain Dreykov is controlling them, and they have to free them because they had to stop the villain Tuckmaster because of the Tuckmaster is trying to kill Natasha Romanoff and Elena. And now it's up with Natasha Romanoff, Elena, Melina, and Axel to stop the main villain Dreykov and the Tuckmaster in the whole Red Room and free those women widows. And that's the plot for Black Widow. So, after I watch this movie in theaters, and later on watch it again on Disney+, what do you think about this movie? In my personal opinion, I fucking love Black Widow. After I watch this movie in theaters, and later on Disney+, for 5 times, trying to review this movie on my channel for my comeback video, I really love Black Widow. In my personal opinion, I really love Black Widow. I have a blast watching this movie, start in beginning, middle, and end. This movie is a fun time. I have a blast watching Black Widow because this movie is awesome, action-packed, funny, hilarious, and surprisingly emotional because this movie is such an emotional movie in my opinion because I really have a blast watching Black Widow in theaters and especially at home because I'm so glad Marvel Studios is back releasing a brand new movie in theaters after two years ago with Spider-Man Far From Home because Marvel Studios want to release a new movie after Far From Home because I'm so glad Marvel Studios is back because of Marvel Studios need to release their content after 2020 ruined it. But at least the MCU is back for now. But back I was saying, so yeah, I really love Black Widow in my opinion because it is funny, awesome, action-packed, and especially emotional because this has to be the most heartwarming moment for an MCU movie because I really love Black Widow so much. I just really love everything about Black Widow because... So yeah, let's begin the positives. For the story and the writing of this movie was amazing. I love the storytelling of Black Widow because I really love the storytelling of Natasha Romanoff story, how she becomes a super widow spy, how she joined the Avengers. I really love the storytelling of Black Widow because I just really love the storytelling of Natasha Romanoff, how we learned about her past and her origin story from the beginning of the movie. And I just really love this movie is dived into Natasha Romanoff's origin story, how she becomes a super spy, how she joined the Avengers, and I just really love the storytelling for this movie. It is clever, brilliant, hilarious, awesome, action-packed, and especially emotional, because I was really felt sorry for some characters. So yeah, I just really love the writing in this movie. It is just brilliant. Also, the action sequence are amazing. I really love the action sequence. Probably the most intense MCU action sequences yet, because they're just so intense and a lot of fun. Because from the opening scene when the Romanovs had to escape to go back to their home, to the car chase scene with Natasha Romanoff and Elena from the main villain, the Tugmaster, which is awesome. I love the car chase scene. Also, the prison break scene while Natasha and Elena has to free their dad, Alexei, from the prison, snowy prison, which is awesome. And especially the climax. The climax is awesome. I love the climax. I won't spoil anything, but the climax will make you go edge of your seat. So yeah, I really love the climax of Black Widow. It is really awesome. And also the visual effects. The visual effects and the special effects are excellent. I really love Marvel Studios' special effects and visual effects. They are absolutely creative and a lot of fun. I just really love the character designs, the costume designs, the areas, the backgrounds are awesome. I'm just really impressed. The visual effects makers did a wonderful job making this movie come to life. I just really love some of the action sequence. They're really awesome. The fight scenes are really tense. This is probably the best fight scenes for an MCU movie yet. So yeah, I love everything about Black Widow. It is awesome. And also the characters. I love every single character from Black Widow. I love them all. Just one character, but that's it. Just only tiny nitpick. But let's get into the positive of the characters. First, we have Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff for the final time. I love Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. She was awesome in this movie than the other films, because this is probably her finest role yet, because I love Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. She is an awesome character in the MCU movies, but seeing her role for the final time is really emotional. I love to see this movie for her but I'm glad we got it, which is awesome. So yeah, I love Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow for the final time. She is awesome, badass, and very interesting, because I just really love her backstory during her movie. Also, her character was so awesome. So yeah, I love Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow for the final time. I really love this character a lot for 11 years. I'm gonna miss you, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Also, we have Florence Pugh as Elena. I love Florence Pugh as Elena. She is an awesome character. I love Florence Pugh as Elena. Elena, who is Natasha Romanoff's sister, she is awesome. I love Elena so much. She's really badass. Also, I just really love Natasha Romanoff's relationship with Elena, which is awesome. Also, we have David Harbour. David Harbour as the Red Guardian. He is excellent. I love David Harbour as Alexei/Red Guardian. He is such a fucking badass. I just really love his catchphrase. It's just awesome. Also, Richard was as Melina. I love Melina. Melina, who is Natasha Romanoff's mother, she's a good character. I love Melina. So yeah, also, I love the four characters' relationship, because I just really love them as family characters because I just really love them as family relationship because the relationship is wonderful. I love the family relationship in the Black Widow. It is very well written and amazing. So yeah, I love all the characters. Also, let's talk about the villains. Let's talk about the villain Tugmaster. I know many people are gonna dislike this video, but here's my thoughts on Tugmaster. I don't think he's not that bad. Sure, he's not that perfect because sure, Tugmaster is nowhere not as good as Thanos, Loki, Zemo, Vulture, Mysterio, Hela, and Agatha Harkness. Some of the other MCU's villains are better than him. But I don't find Tugmaster that bad, but he is an interesting villain, but not the best. But he is probably the most coolest. But I'll give one more credit for Tugmaster is probably the fight scenes. The fight scenes with the Tugmaster are pretty cool. So yeah, that's the only positive. Also, let's talk about the other villain, Dreykov. Just like Tugmaster, he is not the best MCU villain as the other ones, but he is probably the most interesting villain ever because Dreykov in Black Widow, probably the most interesting MCU villain I've seen because at least his motivation makes sense. Why Dreykov's motivations does make sense in my opinion because I understand where his motivation, where it's coming from, why Dreykov wants to kidnap all the female women to become super women widows, trying to make a red war, trying to make the Soviet Unions look worse in comparison. So yeah, at least his motivation makes sense where he's coming from. So yeah, he's probably an interesting villain. Also, the climax was awesome. I fucking love the climax. The climax when Natasha Romanoff's family has to stop Dreykov in the Red Room, had to free the widows, which is awesome. I just really love the climax a lot. So yeah, also the post-credit scene, I won't spoil anything. It was awesome. I love the post-credit scene. Trying to set up for the Hawkeye series, which is awesome. So yeah, I really love Black Widow so much. It is a MCU blast of a movie. And I'm so glad Marvel Studios is back with a brand new blockbuster movie after Spider-Man Far From Home in 2 years later, which is awesome. So yeah, overall, despite my only tiny decent character of Tugmaster, overall, I fucking love Black Widow. Black Widow is officially my new favorite movie of 2021 so far. Yes, I know you're all disagreeing with me. I think Black Widow is the best movie of 2021 so far because I really love Black Widow so far. It has very awesome storytelling, very likable characters, amazing visual effects, and awesome action sequence. Overall, I highly recommend to see this movie in theaters and especially at home on Disney Plus because this is a must-watch MCU movie and probably the most worth the wait MCU movie after 2 years later. Overall, no complaints. I give this movie a 10 out of 10. It gets a totally wicked score. Well, that's it for my movie review on Black Widow. Subscribe to my channel with what's your thoughts on this video. Comment down below. Subscribe to my channel and get totally wicked!